Hey everybody, it is Professor Parish and we are on week 5 of English 122. So it's July 3rd as I'm recording this, so if you've not turned in your paper number 2, done your discussion forum, your poetry exam, or the reading response, make sure you have those done by this evening. I know everybody's had holiday plans, so hopefully you've had time to get that done. So week 5, most people are off on July 4th, but not everybody. But we have some assignments this week. This is probably going to be the most concise and compacted week of our semester because, to be honest, when we normally do this class in the fall and spring, I only spend about maybe 3 weeks on drama, because 3 of the 16 weeks on drama, because we have other classes at SIC that do drama. We have intro to drama, we have theater appreciation, and in those classes you guys look at papers as well and plays. So I don't focus a lot on drama, so this is going to be the very, very, very condensed version of that. Since this is only an 8-week course, we're having to cut things in half. And so instead of spending 3 weeks on drama, we're only spending 1 because I want to give you extra time to work on the final paper. So we're not going to do the drama exam until next week, week 6. And I'll talk about next week, I'll talk about the thesis and outline for paper 4. We'll talk about all that next week. That'll be a pretty big video. But for this class, we are going to have 1 week to work on your drama paper. The good news is the drama paper is like the easiest paper of the class. So that's a good thing. So if we look at our module 5 guide, yes, you do have your thesis and outline and your paper 3 due in the same week. That's going to be a very quick turnaround. I know that's going to freak some people out, so just deep breath. And you will get a chance to revise it. If you turn it in, you do get a chance to revise it. And also, I think once you see the paper guidelines, you're going to be like, oh, that's it? That's all we got to write about? Okay. It is a fast turnaround, but I've done this in previous summers, and it has worked out fine. The students have not seemed to have a big issue with it. I think they would rather have more time to work on the longer paper in the class than just cutting this one pretty short. It's only got to be 3 pages. Just has to be 3 pages, double spaced. Nothing crazy. So as far as looking in our textbook, there are a few sections I do want you to look at reading wise. We'll talk about the paper guidelines here in a second, but there is a section on reading a play that I definitely want you to read, which is pages 141 to 162 or 1141 to 1162. You don't have to read all 20 pages, just kind of skim through and look at the terminology. There's a section on tragedy and comedy, which is pages 1165 to 1192. There is modern theater, which is like modern drama. These two here, depending on what type of play you read or research, you may do a more close reading or just skim reading of these sections. And then evaluating a play, definitely read these 2 pages, pages 1678 to 1680, and then pages 1830 to 1840 on writing. Evaluating and writing about a play, those 2 sections are pretty important. I would read them just to get a good handle on how to take on this paper. But the assignments for this week are your reading response, the discussion forum, and then your paper 3, both the outline and thesis and the draft itself. So a quick turnaround on this 3rd paper, but like you'll see here in the guidelines, it's not a hard paper. You really have 2 options for it. So option 1 is you write your own 1-act play in script format. So this won't look like a short story. It will look like a play. You'll have the character name, their dialogue, you'll have stage business. If you look at any play in your textbook, you can see how that looks, and that would be the play that you would write if you choose the creative writing option. I've had a lot of students choose this, but not every student wants to write their own play, and I don't blame you. It's not as easy as it sounds, right? There's a little bit of complication to it. So if you would rather do something less creative writing oriented, you can analyze a play from our textbook or an outside source and use the elements of drama to discuss them. So you can analyze any play that is in our textbook. You can do a 3-page analysis of it and talk about how the terms of our textbook apply to it. Or if you want to review like Wicked or Moulin Rouge or another play like City of Angels or something like that, then you can do that. Sweeney Todd, I wrote a paper in grad school about Sweeney Todd because I like that play a lot. So you can do that, you can analyze that. You just need to make sure you cite your sources, right? And so the paper should be 3 pages minimum, a 12-point legible font. The margins are set if you open a Word document. Should be an essay format with an introduction and conclusion. You need to cite your textbook and MLA as well as any other optional sources. So if you just chose a play from our textbook, you just have to cite the textbook. If you're just doing a creative writing piece, you just have to cite the textbook. But if you found an outside play to use, you need to cite your textbook and where you found that play from. And so next week will be a very important video. We're going to talk a lot about MLA in the next week's video along with paper 4. So if you've not looked at the MLA citation guidelines, you might want to review those before next week. But I will be looking at MLA as part of this assignment. So it's worth 100 points just like your other papers. The thesis and draft I changed the draft. The draft was originally due, and I'm going to alter this right after this video. The draft was originally due next week, but then I realized that only gives you 2 weeks to work on the final paper, and I was like, oh, that's not enough time. So I'm going to change this, all right? So I'm going to change this to July 10th just so you all are aware, all right? And so you'll have that for next week. So I'm going to change that once I'm done with this video. As far as your thesis and outline goes, all I want to know is what is the topic of your drama paper and what's the outline. Kind of like what we've done with papers 1 and 2. It should look exactly like that. Pretty easy peasy. And then obviously I'm going to go ahead and talk about paper being due here. Your paper draft you'll submit. Just make sure paper 3 is in a Word document, a rich text format, or PDF file. I don't accept any other formats for credit. And then you will get a chance you'll get a couple weeks to revise your paper once you've turned it in. All right, so you will get a chance to revise. So that's fun, as long as you turn in something on July 10th. And then the discussion forum for this week, I like this video a lot. If you don't know John Malkovich, you probably recognize his face. He's an actor. He's actually from Benton, Illinois. He's from Benton, fun times. But he's been in a lot of movies, a lot of TV shows, but he's also a theater actor. So in this video, he kind of talks about the differences of being on stage versus on film. And if you've ever been in a play before, which I've been in a couple plays here at SIC and in high school, then you'll kind of probably relate to what he's talking about. But I want you to watch this video and then the 3 questions for the discussion forum down below. The first question is, what is the most interesting thing about Malkovich's description of film versus theater? And if you've been in a play before, how can you relate to his words? So if you've not been in a play before, you don't have to answer that second question. The chapters this week talk about Shakespeare and older plays. Why do we still read them? What is timeless about these plays? Why do we still look at them? And then what do you think is the biggest advantage to seeing a performance acted out as opposed to reading it on page? So I think that these questions should address a lot about theater itself, and it looks like some people have already responded in the discussion forum, so thank you. That's awesome. You guys are great. But should be some fun questions. I really like John Malkovich. He's fun, and so I'm excited to see what you guys think about the video down below. And then finally, our reading response. Our reading response is choosing 2 plays from pages 35 to 38. Now, obviously, these plays should not be ones you're using for paper 3, but I'm actually going to change that right now. I'm going to say that they can be one of the plays. I'm going to say that one of the plays and can be a play. Since we don't have a lot of time to work on this assignment, it can be a play that you are using for your paper. So I am going to change that. If you've already done the assignment, I'm not going to count off on anything, but it can be a play you're using for paper 3. But 2 plays, and then obviously we don't have a lot of time for this assignment. I get it. So you'll probably do like a close reading of the plays. And the plays, they should be from your literature book, but I'll be a little lenient. If you want to go outside sources on this one, you can. And so basically I want you to look at the 2 plays and answer the questions below. So what 2 plays did you choose? What chapters are they from? How does each play serve as a representation for the theme of that chapter? So is the importance of being earnest a good example of a comedy? Yes or no? And then which play did you like better and why? And you can choose short plays for your textbook. You don't have to choose any crazy long plays. I know we don't have a lot of time to do this assignment. A couple of you have already turned it in, which is awesome. But I'm just curious to see you compare and contrast 2 plays from your book. And they can be plays, one of them can be one you're using for this paper. So there is that. That may help you to do this assignment as well. But there is a lot to do this in this week's assignments, but I think that is all very doable. Just make sure you pace yourself on that theater paper, on that drama paper. Turn in your thesis. I'll check throughout the week. If you've already turned in your thesis and outline, I'll double check this week to make sure it's going to work. I'm going to be on campus Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday, I unfortunately have a conference I have to go to, so I'll be on campus checking emails all day Tuesday and Wednesday, and then on Thursday, after my conference, I'll check my email then. All right, but I am off tomorrow for the 4th of July, so I probably won't check any emails until Tuesday if you email me today or tomorrow. So, but in any case, if you have any questions at all, please email me and let me know. I'm happy to answer any questions, but I am excited to see what plays you're going to look at for your drama paper. And I know it's a quick turnaround, but I promise you will be glad that you have more time to work on the last paper. I've had students in the past be like, that was a quick turnaround on paper 3, but I'm glad I had more time to work on the final paper. So hopefully that will be the case for you all as well. But in any case, I hope you all have a wonderful 4th of July, as my dog is barking down below. I hope you have a wonderful 4th of July. Have a wonderful week. Please stay safe. Take care. And I'll be back next week to talk about, next week, week 6 will be a very important video, so make sure you watch that one. We'll talk about paper 4 as well as MLA. In the meantime, have a good week, guys, and I'll talk to you all again soon. Bye.